everybody. Pharrell likes to say, time for some action. But tonight, I am happy to say that it's time for some Maction. That's right. This is our Mid-American Conference preview. The captain of the ship, Mike Holland, joins me right now to give his thoughts on the league and help me break it all down into our world famous tiers. It's time for the return of the Mac once again. Right now, recording live from somewhere. This is One and Done.
Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
It's time once again for everybody to come aboard that One and Done train. Welcome to One and Done. Bienvenidos a todos a One and Done, your fast break of college basketball información. And we're powered by the galaxy's greatest website. That would be drroto.com. I'm your sometimes humble host. My name is Jay Heinrich, and if you didn't know, now you're about to know. I'm the conductor of the aforementioned One and Done train. Follow me on X at Dr. William Cannon. Follow us on the show here, right below, or not even, farther down even, below where it says like and subscribe, right there, scrolling across your viewing device. At One and Done CVB on all the socials is where you need to be. Follow us over there, but while you're doing that, do yourself a favor and follow... Got my directions crossed up tonight. That man right there. Around these parts, he is known as El Capitan himself, the captain of the One and Done ship. Find him at MC Holland 34. The OG Money Mike, Mr. Mike Holland. Mike, it is indeed time for some Maction.
Man, it's one of the fun leagues to do because we get to always say Return of the Mac and Maction, and it's near and dear to our hearts because
I held off for every other.
I
did not say it until we actually got here tonight. I'm very proud of that.
Yeah, man, but also near and dear to like me and CC Hustle and some of the other boys that have linked up with our first commenter, CT Hug and Cam, in the chat as we are playing a college football 26 dynasty in the MAC. We are all MAC teams. So, it's MAC is just all around us right now, man. So I'm excited. And they got some fun teams in this conference, Jay.
Yeah, we always like talking about the MAC. It's good to see Cam in there, the all-time winningest player in the MC Holland 34 Invitational on DraftKings. Our guy Cam showing up right away, and so is Riley. It is MAC time. You got it, Riley. Always good to see Riley. Riley's a ball knower.
What's up, Riley?
It hangs out in the live chat, and so is Snake's Eyes right there. It's getting close. It is. Hey, it's right. I mean, we're right around the corner, guys. Like, realistically, I mean, it's already mid-August, basically. And then it'll be September, October, there. We're right around the corner. So good to see everybody in the live chat. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons right here on YouTube if you haven't already. Let's get to it, Mike. It's the MAC, the return of the MAC. Ranked 23rd out of 31 conferences in KenPom strength of conference last year. Akron dominated the regular season with a phenomenal 17-1 record. And then the Zips went on to beat Miami of Ohio to win the MAC tournament and get that automatic bid to the old dance, as they say, where they drew Arizona, a favorite team of mine in past years, who, actually made it past the first round and beat Akron 93-65. So that was the end of it for the MAC. What say you, Mike, about this conference?
So this must have just flew over my head, man. We always have all kinds of realignment stuff. But UMass joining the MAC this year, and Northern Illinois, this is going to be their final years. They're going to hop back into the Horizon League. So it's just always people going to different places. So we have to keep up with that, obviously. But for right now this year, we're just having UMass join. A lot of tenured coaches in this league, Jay. I mean, we're going to talk about some of these programs, Kent State, Akron, Toledo, even Ohio, man. These guys have been around the block and know how to win. So I'm sure you'll find most of those teams up there in the mid and high tier. But typically a fun brand of basketball. Top 3 in tempo as far as conference play in 8 of the last 9 years. And last year they were second overall out of all 31 conferences. So if you love to run and gun, and they do shoot a lot of threes in this conference as well. This is definitely not just a conference to pay attention to, but this conference tournament gets lit.
Absolutely. Year after year, one of the best ones to follow along with. And speaking of one of the best ones to follow along with, One of the best commenters to follow along with is our guy Darren. No, this is not the podcast with Taylor Swift on it tonight. Although, we're not too far away removed from that, to be honest. I mean, it's probably coming around the corner. Who knows what's going to happen next? And you won't know unless you hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss anything that we're doing here. We're previewing every single conference across the land leading up to opening tip. So make sure you hit all those buttons. Follow our guy, CC Hustle, of course, pushing the buttons tonight at The Real Napier. Our guy Nate doing his thing. And then our guy Eric the Blue at Fantasy Nav in those Twitter streets, setting up the studio, getting you those fire graphics and doing his thing as well. All right, Mike, let's get to it. No more waiting. It's time to get to the world famous tiers. And I don't mean the tears that Buffalo fans are crying after years of hey, man, they enjoyed having Nate Oates over there on campus, didn't they?
Oh, yeah.
But alas, it is no more. And the Bulls went 4-14 last year, leading off our, we have low there on the screen, but Mike, we like to try to keep it a little more positive around
it fits
here.
in the box a little bit better,
Right. Foundation of the league, we call it the foundation, the lower tier here. Buffalo hanging out right there, leading off here. Coach George Halkovich trying to hit the reset button again, but getting to do so now with a couple of key returning starters in guard Ryan Sable and forward Noah Batchelor. So Sable brings the shooting, 35% from deep. Batchelor does a little bit of everything, 6 boards, 7 points per game. A little bit of talent in place here for Buffalo, Mike, but until this is not a very efficient team on either end of the basketball court. So they got to clean that up, and they cannot turn the ball over anywhere close to the amount that they turned it over last season. Otherwise, I mean, at most, this is a 6-win ceiling here. But I probably feel better about keeping them around that 4 or 5 win range, just like last season.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And then, we got Western Michigan. The Broncos were in that mid-tier, finished in the mid-tier last year at 9-9. So this has kind of been a theme over the last couple of seasons under Coach Dwayne Stevens. They've have been 500. So the problem is he's not going to really recognize many of the faces that he had from the past couple of years here, Jay. It's going to be one of the youngest teams in the conference. They do have FIU transfer wing Jaden Brewer, who can fill it up, 14.5 points per game last year. He's going to definitely need to be at his best if they hope not to take a step back into this projected low tier, because defensively, they're looking at a pretty tough year. I just don't know how they're going to get many quality stops. And then Eastern Michigan, we have them down here as well. They were 9-9 last year. And they're another program with an entirely new look. You got Coach Stan Heath. He's done a great job improving his program for the first 4 years. One position he's not going to have to worry about at point guard, where Stetson transfer Mekhi Ellison is coming through. He averaged 14.5 points, 2.5 assists, and shot 37% from 3. So I definitely like him as a difference maker. I'm kind of like Western Michigan. I don't know how they're going to protect their own basket, and that is a problem when you play basketball. So this is going to be a pretty small team, not a lot of size, not a lot of defensive pedigree. I do think we're going to see this like 2 to 3 win fall off for Eastern Michigan. And then you got the Northern Illinois Huskies here. Like I just mentioned, they're the final season here. The Huskies definitely hit rock bottom, the fewest conference wins since 1999. So I don't know if this is going to get any better for Coach Rashawn Burno. Like Jay, man, what say you on this Northern Illinois squad?
Well, it's a young roster ready to prove that they belong. The problem is there's just too many unknowns to put a lot of stock in what that outcome might be. If you're looking for something to latch onto here, Jacksonville State transfer guard Jawa Tuka, bucket getter. I mean, 35% from deep right there at the Heinrich line, almost 9 points per game. He can score the basketball. Otherwise, a lot of this season is going to fall on J.J. Taylor, who Riley, of course, ball knower, right there in the chat. He's going to get every opportunity to put up those numbers. And if he can, then maybe Northern Illinois can take a couple of steps forward here. But he's going to have to get every bit of that in order for them to do. So shout out to Riley for being, Riley in the live chat. And that's what you get right here on One and Done. the best ball knowers in the live chat. You got me and Mike breaking everything down for you. So make sure you hit those like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already. That's the low tier, the foundation of said conference, Mike. Everybody's hit the like and subscribe button already. I know it, because they wanted to join 1,555 of their closest friends that have already done that, the Hoopheads right here in the One and Done universe. So now that we've done that, this is the Mid-American Conference. So let's get to the old
nice.
mid-tier, and I'm going to lead it off per usual here with the Chippewas of Central Michigan. After 4 years and a 49-75 record, Central Michigan finally, I shouldn't say finally, I mean, he had his shot. Coach Tony Barbie, he was relieved of his duties and will now hand the keys to somebody, Mike. Again, this is not somebody that's been hanging around in D1 and, cutting his. This is an up-and-coming D2 coach now, stepping up to the MAC, and Coach Andy Bronkema joining here from Ferris State. So what are your thoughts on the Chippewas? I'm going to step away real fast and grab a charger cord here, Mike, before I fall out of the studio. So take over here for Central Michigan. I'll join you right back in a second.
Yeah, so Bronkema has definitely been a coach with a lot of success at the D2 level. We'll see if he can transfer that over to the MAC. So if you're looking for anyone on the roster from last year, you're not going to find one. I think what you do like about this team is the incoming portal talent. You like guard Fat Brooks coming in from Michigan, wing Rodney Johnson. He averaged 13 points, 6 boards, shot 40% from three. And you just got a plethora of D2, JUCO, NAIA guys, which we typically see whenever you see huge turnover, and typically a D2 coach that takes over. So I think these guys are definitely going to be hungry. And this includes a 7-footer, Nathan Clairbaugh, who comes over from Ferris State, where Bronkema is coming over from, and he's a guy that can protect the rim, over 2 blocks per game. So definitely like their defensive upside with him. You like what Brooks and Johnson can do from them on the offensive end. So definitely like Central Michigan to kind of be right here at this 8, 9, 10 win type of season. And then we'll move over here. We also got the Bowling Green Falcons. They were 8-10 last year, so right at the tip here of the mid tier last year. So a bit of a step back in year 2 for Coach Todd Simon, but still competitive in conference play. They lost some big names in the portal. He lost Marcus Johnson, Derek Butler, but they did manage to retain stud guard and third-team MAC performer Javante Campbell. He averaged 15 points, 3 assists, almost 3 steals. He was in the portal, but actually withdrew his name. So you're going to put Campbell here with Colorado transfer guard Javon Ruffin, who, obviously coming down from the Big 12. Going to see a spike in numbers and can be a difference maker at this level. You have the makings of a pretty good backcourt here. Plus, you have another Power 5 transfer here in Justin Thomas from Florida State. He averaged 5 points per game. We know kind of a train wreck that Florida State was. I think he's definitely going to be a breakout candidate in this league. So when you look at it all together, man, they've got some P5 talent. They've got some experience. I think they'll be able to stretch the floor pretty well. It kind of has me wondering, maybe they could be a high tier type team this year, but 10, 11 wins kind of seems right for me. And welcome back, Jay. We got the old Toledo Rockets here, 10-8 last year. Just an awesome stretch run, 4-year stretch here, 14 plus conference wins, but then they fell back last year because it was Coach Kowalczyk's worst defensive efficiency during his tenure. They were 356th nationally in defensive adjusted efficiency, and that's just not going to get it done.
It's not going to get it done at any level. But if Toledo's going to get the most out of this season, a big chunk of that's going to be Sonny Wilson, All-MAC, third-team guard, coming back for his junior year. And then you get Kyler Vanderjagt coming in, transferring from Central Michigan as well. That's a pretty solid backcourt, and that's the type of MAC-level backcourt that I want to see late in February, going up and down the court. And of course, Coach Kowalczyk, we know how good of a job that he's done there at Toledo. And the question is, I guess, can they get Ohio State transfer big Austin Parks to tap into that potential? He had a little bit of hype surrounding him at Ohio State, and now has made that the big dip move, as we like to call. He's a big dipper coming down here to Toledo. So that's a big X factor for me as well. This is going to be a very, very young team, only 2 seniors and 2 juniors on the whole roster total. high floor because it's Kowalczyk, and just what he does. But I think they probably make this mid-tier because that ceiling just leaves a little bit to be desired. Again, they could absolutely regain that form.
Yeah,
nobody
100%.
would be shocked. Nobody would be shocked at all. But I got to see it now that we've had some movement around there, and this conference is tough. And we'll talk about some really tough teams coming up in this high tier, and we haven't even gotten to UMass yet. The Minutemen joining the conference here. Frank Martin and his program looking to get back on track in their inaugural season in the league, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be mostly a new look roster. You have a cornerstone, right? He's got forward Daniel Hankins Sanford, average 10 points, over 7 rebounds per game. So you love having that, coming into the year. And there's just a lot of new faces, man. D2 JUCO ranks that these guys are going to need to contribute. But most of the upside offensively, outside of Hankins Sanford, is really going to fall on the shoulders of a transfer guard from UMBC. That's Marcus Banks. Shot 42% from 3. He's a floor spacer. It's going to be critical because he's definitely an elite catch and shoot option. So it should allow for Hankins and ACU transfer big Leonardo Bettiol, who averaged 13 points per game, a little more space to operate inside. So offensively, I believe this team's definitely going to be able to get it done. Defensive upside, probably what's going to limit their ceiling here to the mid-tier. And then the final team we have in the mid-tier is Ball State, 7-11 last year. It's going to be year 4 for Coach Mike Lewis, and he's definitely looking for some answers because he's got a revamped roster. So they've got plenty of talent. I just worry about the chemistry here. It's going to really tell the story for the Cardinals here. You got a backcourt that's full of options. I mean, Devin Barnes comes in from UTEP. He's a double-digit scorer. Elmore James from Ohio. He's flashing talent. Armani Ziegler comes in from St. Peter's. He's done a few things over there. And then Jawan Maxey comes in from Youngstown State. Really solid program. So I like what he's probably going to be able to give them on a nightly basis. They're all scorers, but somebody's going to kind of need to be the facilitator and the lead guard. So, which one of these guys can really take their game up a level in that department is going to really help out the floor. But I definitely think there's a breakout candidate here too. We got Iowa State transfer wing Caden Fish. Didn't get to see a lot of him. I think he's definitely got some upside here. So this is going to be a very competitive team. We have these ceiling, these high tier teams, man, that you feel a little more safe, and that the upside as far as the caliber of talent on these high tier teams is going to be pretty tough to stop on a night in, night out basis.
Ball State hadn't made the tournament in 25 years. I mean, you go 7-11 last year, year 4. It's kind of, I feel like this is a shit or get off the pot kind of year for Mike Lewis at Ball State. Like, you got to revamp your roster. It's a tough road ahead. It's an uphill climb with a brand new cast of characters. But again, plenty of talent on this roster, a very competitive roster for sure. All right, good stuff there. Make sure everybody hits those like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already. If you're hanging out with us over on X, we appreciate you. Thanks for checking us out. We see you hanging out in the lobby. Get over to YouTube, One and Done College Basketball, WON and Done College Basketball. Type it out. You can do that on Google too. And the first thing that pops up is our YouTube page. Click on it, hit the subscribe button, turn on your notification bells because we're breaking down every conference. Once the regular season rolls around, we're doing DraftKings. We're giving you news and notes. We're bringing you everything that you need for college basketball. We are your fast break college basketball information. So make sure you hit those like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already. Good stuff, everybody. We appreciate the live chat. Let's go. It's a fair bet. Ball knower Darren, of course. And then Riley, I don't know if we flashed it yet, saying Ball State is his their sleeper. Again, like, Coach Lewis is going to be looking to make a statement this year. He's looking to, cool off a seat a little bit if there is that warmth that's there. He's looking to cool that down real quick, and he has the roster to do it, right? Will it all come together? We'll see. Good stuff there in the live chat as always. Mike, let's move on to the high tier in the MAC. This is one of those things, Mike, where there's so many of these mid-major conferences that there's this revolving door of champions because It's just like on any given night, these teams can cannibalize each other in the league and
Yep.
beat each other down. And we see that
bids.
so often. Akron is one of those teams where you look at what they did last year, going 17-1. It's hard to believe that this team will take that big of a step back, that they aren't the front runner to win this conference. If you missed our top 5 mid-major show, which by the way we did some shows before the conference previews. Make sure you go back and watch those after you watch this one. But if you missed our top 5 mid-major show, Akron was featured as our 3rd ranked mid in the country. Now this is like if you have multi-bids in your conference or even like multi-bid potential, we didn't include that in this show. Yeah, right. So cut all that out. Akron was our 3rd highest team left over there in the mids. A lot of talent is back for a team that made the tournament. Obviously, Tavari Johnson, first team all conference. Shama Scott, Bowen Hardman, Sharon Young, who was on the MAC freshman team of the year. The front court is stout as well. Armani Lyles, Ohio State transfer. Evan Mahaffey. I was looking at that pre-show, Mike, looking over things. And yeah, we just covered Akron within the last month or so. And I see that name here. I see Mahaffey right there. Yeah, right there, Riley. Of course, he's on top of it. It's still that reinforces everything that I'm feeling about that I felt about Akron. And then again, seeing that and as that reminder, I mean, it's the defensive intensity, right? What was going to win you games in this? We see so many, even in the high tiers of these conferences that we've covered, they just still don't play any defense. They're going to outscore people and they get lucky. It's not, these aren't just great defenders. Akron is that team. And of course, or they will be a little bit more with Mahaffey anyway else. They're going to be small, but that's their identity, Mike, right? So they need a guy like Mahaffey to pick up the slack. And then, hello, have you heard of John Groach?
Hello.
Anybody there? The reigning MAC coach of the year. They're going to score with anyone. This is a team that can score with anyone, Mike. And trying to add a little bit of that defensive identity with Mahaffey. They have to be the favorites to win the league.
They have to be. And when we were talking about in the top 5 mid show, you play small, right? And you play like an Arizona in the tournament in the first round. They're just going to beat you up inside. And that's exactly what, and then it opens up the 3-point ball. So basically the entire, if you can't match the shots with them, you're going to get blown out. That's exactly what happened. Now you put Mahaffey, somebody with Power 5 experience, a guy that can play the small ball 4, right? Not a huge offensive threat, obviously, but man, that toughness. Like you got these guards here that can score and run up and down the court. You just need someone at the 4 that's just gonna be a solid fit, especially next to Armani Lyles. So yeah, they're gonna be a lot more equipped to handle. Now they're not gonna have the depth to be able to handle the bodies, but if they get hot and with Mahaffey and his defense, like Riley said, he's gonna be a key part if they're gonna pull an upset. Once we get the tournament time, they're able to get this MAC bid, man. But look, man, just because Akron's in our top 5 mids, it doesn't mean that they won't have any challengers. And Ohio at 10-8 last year is more of a, falling in line with the mid tier last year, but they got some serious talent. And I think they're ready to take the next step. You got Jackson Pavletsky. He's the point guard, averaged 14 points. He was 3rd team all MAC after averaging 13 and 5. He's going to be on the short list for Conference Player of the Year honors. You got him. You got forward Aiden Hadaway here, 10 points, 6 boards. Definitely going to set a nice foundation. You got some portal pieces coming in, like Appalachian State guard Deion Connors. He averaged 8 points, shot 40%, so he'll be able to space the floor. And then they got an interconference transfer here from Toledo, man, Javon Simmons, who we really like, averaged 12.5 points, 7 boards. Jalen Brett is a Greensboro big, that UNC Greensboro that, gives them some size and some rebounding. I think this is going to make this team really dangerous. You got Coach Jeff Bowles. I mean, one of the conference best. So I think we should see, one of the better versions here for Ohio. So definitely going to be a fun team to watch. So, you got to factor them into the league crown this year. And then Kent State and Miami of Ohio, we're going to put them in here as well. And speaking of coaching, John Groach, right? Like Jeff Bowles, right? Oh, guess what? Kent State's got Rob Senderoff. 920+ win season since he took over in 2012. Yeah, Vaughn Cameron Davis, Jalen Sullinger, those guys are gone. They were key pieces, but You got Zion Medley back, the point guard there for them. Morgan Safford, a nice scoring wing for them. And then you add some pretty salty talent. You got UNLV big Robert Whaley coming in. This is a team that's going to have a bunch of freshmen and redshirt freshmen. One kid to watch for, number 207 on the 24/7 composite. How often do we see, one of these mid tiers get, this type of talent in a freshman, a 6'8" Desmond Briscoe? So he's a player to watch for. And, they're going to be a top 3-ish team defensively in the league. They just need this offense to improve a little bit if they definitely want to win the league. And then finally, Jay, we'll clean this up here and finish it up. We got Miami of Ohio, the Red Hawks. They were 14-4 last year. Coach Travis Steele definitely done a remarkable job reviving this program and really his career after his firing from Xavier. They've gone from 12 wins in year 1 to 15 in year 2 to an impressive 25 overall wins last year, which was a program record. Look, they lost Cam Kraft. He was a stud guard for them, but here's a trio of players coming back, right? You got Peter Suter at guard, averaged 14 points. Ian Elmer averaged 11 points, and you have this forward Antoine Woolfolk, previously of Rutgers, who had a nice little season. It's definitely going to rival, any top of the roster, right? Like you take the top 4 or 5 guys from all the rosters in the league. Miami of Ohio is right up there. So I think it's going to be an elite offense. They're going to have the ability to stretch the floor. They were 15th in 3-point percentage last year. I think you're gonna see another big win total from Miami of Ohio.
This is going to be a super competitive conference, just top to bottom.
Yeah, coaching, players.
I know that we have these teams in tiers, but there's a lot of talent in this conference. There's players looking to make a difference coming down from the power conferences.
Yeah. Yep.
The Big Dippers coming down to the MAC. There's guys that are getting their opportunity because of transfers out. There's a lot of new blood in this conference. I feel very strongly that Akron is going to be that team to once again take care of business. But, who knows? You talk about depth in this conference and they lose a couple of guys that are important to them. And then before you know it, it's 50-50 coin flip on a night-out basis for this conference. So good stuff there. Let's break it down one more time, starting at the top. Akron, Ohio, Kent State, and Miami of Ohio right there in the high tier. In the old mid tier in the Mid-American Conference, we have Central Michigan, of course. We have Bowling Green, Toledo, UMass. Welcome to the conference, UMass, and Ball State. Rounding us out right there in the foundation. It said low on the screen the entire time. They're on the screen the longest with low next to their name. The foundation of this conference: Buffalo, Western Michigan, Eastern Michigan, both directions of Michigan here, and Northern Illinois.
I like Darren's question. More wins, Miami, Ohio, or the Miami Hurricanes. So, stick around. We'll probably be doing the ACC in late October. So we'll circle back around to to that one for sure.
We definitely will. But before we get there, we're coming right back live tomorrow night. Mike, it's the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, the old MEAC.
Man, if the ball knowers are in for the MEAC, man, we got some really good fans and and really good commenters, man. But that's why we're here, man. We try to do it all.
Definitely. And of course, Darren, Riley, Nate getting in the chat there, Snake's Eyes,
CT.
And of course, CT Huggin, C-Thuggin, Cam, a man of many names. Of course, one of the OGs in our live chat and right here on One and Done. Shout out to everybody for joining us, for pushing those buttons, for showing us some love. Darren, you may be right, but maybe they don't suck all. That's not 100% true, Darren. It doesn't say low because they're the foundation. They're building up, Darren. Right? They're building up there. We'll see.
We'll be doing my homework on the MEAC tomorrow. We've done it for you, Darren.
Yeah, we've done it. Just join us and hang out with us. We definitely appreciate you for hanging out in the live chat. Everybody's Snake's Eyes, you too, man. Always good to see you there.
Yeah, definitely Snake's Eyes. Appreciate it.
Shout out to our guy Nate pushing the buttons tonight, the Hall of Famer himself, CC Hustle at the Real Napier over on X. Eric the Blue at Fantasy Nav. I know Twitter streets, getting you those fire graphics, setting up the studio, doing his thing. At Fantasy Nav, the best fantasy follow this side of the Mississippi. Darren changing it up. Oh, Jaden Epps. No, that's it. Sticking to it, my friend. Jaden Epps.
He's still on it.
He's still on it. He's not changing it up. I don't know why I said that, because he's been sticking to it. He's not playing Jaden Epps in DFS this season. We'll see about that. We'll join you for the MC Holland 34 Invitational right there on DK. Shout out to everybody for hanging out. That guy on the screen right there next to me is El Capitan himself, the captain of the one and done ship at MC Holland 34 on X. Give him a follow for sure. Your college basketball feed will be better for it, as well as if you're into, Sabrina Carpenter or, whatever, the WNBA. If you want to see Mike Bink, his DK winnings right there, he'll flash them up there too on those Twitter streets. So make sure you follow him at MC Allen 34 on Twitter. At One and Done CVB is the show page. I am at Dr. William Cannon right there, and I'm the conductor of the aforementioned One and Done train. Tell somebody you love them. Take care of yourself. It's good to see everybody as always. Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, MEAC tomorrow. My name is JAYHEINRICH. Come again. We'll see you.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drrodo.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.